Hi everybody, John with you, and today we continue on our journey through my Hawaiian record collection. Today we're starting on a new letter, the letter I. So let's see what Hawaiian vinyl we have under the letter I. Here we have an album from Hawaii Recording Studio, which is actually in California, the Ilima Sound. And it's a group of gentlemen. Doesn't have a date on it, probably the 70s from the looks of it. With some, Hawaiian songs of the time. San Jose, California, actually. The Imperial strings in a Hawaiian mood. This is on Hula Records, instrumental orchestral album. Also stamped, I've mentioned before, you can barely see the 3 on here, but some of the records you'll see I got at Django's in Portland, Oregon when I lived there, 3 for $1 section. And they also stamped the label, so Django cheapo, but hey, for 33 cents, I will take it that way. And these are Hawaiian songs, quite a few kuili songs, orchestral instrumental versions. Also, I believe this also was released as Jack DeMello is actually in charge of Imperial Strings, and I think it was released under his name as well. Here's an interesting album from 1975, a musical tour of Hawaii presented by Inclusive Tours Hawaii, and these are the performers on the album, and they are all employees of the Inclusive Tours Hawaii company. This gentleman in particular is Frank Ilima, who later on would become very, very well known here in Hawaii in his own right as a comedian. He had many comedy albums. I don't collect the comedy albums, but he was very, very well known local comedian and had shows in Waikiki and was on television and had many, but he was also a singer. He did do some songs, and this is how he was starting out as working for a tour company, tour guide, and sang on this album, which I'm going to assume was either given to people who went on the inclusive tours or sold to them or something like that. I don't know. Here is our late Senator Daniel K. Inouye on a 2 LP set called The Story of Hawaii's Golden Heritage with the Jack DeMello Orchestra. This is a kind of an interesting set. 3 sides are music with narration from Daniel Inouye, and they talk about different periods of Hawaiian history, different rulers of the Hawaiian kingdom, and different time periods, World War II and whatnot, narrated. 3 sides narration, and then 1 side are the instrumental themes in some of the readings. Here's an album out of French-speaking Canada. Hawaiian Treasures by l'Orchestre du Festival International, otherwise known as the International Festival Orchestra. And I always laugh at this cover because she looks to me sort of like, what's her name? Drew Barrymore, right? I don't know. It's a nice LP, just kind of the basic usual songs in orchestral with steel guitar, and also a few nice originals. Pineapple Island, a song I particularly like. And again, I always enjoy these albums that advertise other releases on their labels to see what else they produced. Here's another kind of interesting album, the International Polynesians. This is a custom label or vanity label or whatever you want to call it, Century Records, that they would have put out themselves. This is a performing group, not in Hawaii, but in fact it says here side 2 was recorded at the Hukilau, a top restaurant and cocktail lounge in Chicopee, Massachusetts. Okay, and the performers performed in various parts of the country, and several of them seem to have been in the Wisconsin Dells for a while. So it's, you know, lounge, half Hawaiian, half pop music. And today we'll wrap up with a very famous group in Hawaii called the Invitations, and they actually had a national recording label here at Liberty. Buddy Foe, one of the members of the Invitations, and would later have a not solo career, but would regroup with Buddy Foe as Buddy Foe and the Invitations, or Buddy Foe and his group, which we've seen their albums on a previous video under the letter F. But these guys, really sensational stuff, very modern at the time vocals and arrangements, and big band. This is with a big band, Russ Garcia and his orchestra, and very tight harmonies. Very interesting albums. RSVP by the Invitations, which was followed up, or another album, I'm not actually sure which one was first now that I think about it, The Invitations with Billy May and his orchestra. But this is the same kind of thing. You see the Django 3 for $1 there? But the same kind of music as the other albums. Great albums if you run across them. Then this is Liberty, or Sunset was, I think, the budget label of Liberty, so they, you know, kind of rehashed or reissued some of the Invitation tracks on this album called Hawaii Calls, but it's looks more modern than it is. I mean, the nice cover. The album was, you know, this reissue was much later. And let's check out a few samples.
I've admired you right from the start. Pretty red hibiscus, you're the flower of my heart. Come with me, following, and I lead you to that friendly isle, island of Less than a century after Captain Cook discovered Hawaii, the man who was to be the last king of Hawaii began his reign, King Kalakaua, the merry monarch. It was a reign marked by gaiety and glamorous court life, political turmoil, and prosperity. Sunrise, the golden sunset, in Lahaina,
I hope you enjoyed that, and join me again next time. Subscribe if you like the video, and give it a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of music, check out my other YouTube channel called Hawaiian Leisure Hour that has selections, full selections from these albums and many other albums in my Hawaiian record collection. Thank you. We'll see you next time.